At the party, my girlfriend lost a game of truth or dare. She was told to call the person who represents her deepest regret. I listened as she asked the person on the other end, "If I got a divorce right now, would you finally give me a home?" As soon as the word yes drifted from the speaker, the entire room fell into a heavy silence. Everyone expected me to fly into a blind rage, thinking I'd flip the table and start a scene. But to their surprise, I simply, calmly, slipped the ring off my ring finger. "We haven't officially registered the marriage yet. It's not too late." "Then let's break up," I said. I'm stepping aside to make room for her. Without waiting for her to find her voice, I turned and walked away. Halfway home, I dialed a number back in Jingbei. "Dad, Mom, I've decided to come home and get married." "That's wonderful, Xiaofan. You've finally come to your senses. You are the sole heir to the Jiang group, after all. If you hadn't insisted on toughening up out there all these years, you'd have taken over the family business and married long ago. Your father and I already have the perfect match picked out. We were just waiting for you to say the word." Hearing the relief and joy in their voices, a pang of guilt twisted in my chest. My tone softened reflexively. "I'll leave the arrangements to you." Good. We'll set the wedding for January 19th. Now, when are you coming back? Do you want to meet your fiancé beforehand? I can set up a meeting for you two soon." My mother's excited, endless chatter was starting to give me a bit of a headache. I didn't care who I was marrying. I couldn't even force myself to be interested. So, I cut her off. "I want to get back to the Jiang family early to help you both out. The marriage is just a formality. There's no need to meet. Just handle the wedding details. I'll be back the night before the ceremony." Just as the words left my lips, the bedroom door was pushed open from the outside. Hearing the noise, I instinctively looked over and saw Bai Ningbing walking in with a frown. "A wedding? What wedding?" Looking at the confusion written all over her face, I calmly hung up the phone. I came up with a random excuse to brush her off. "A friend is getting married. They want me to be the best man." Hearing that, the tension on Bai Ningbing's face finally eased up. She didn't ask anything else. I set my phone on the table and headed into the bathroom. A moment later, the sound of the shower filled the room. Then, the phone on the table started buzzing. Hearing the persistent notifications, I hesitated for a moment. The second I tapped the screen, a message from a contact named Shen Haoyu popped up. "Do you still remember what you said back then? You aren't actually planning on marrying Jiang Fan, are you?" Those words made my heart skip a beat. My hand froze for a second. I slowly scrolled up through the chat, and there it was. A message Bai Ningbing had sent just 10 minutes ago. Stared back at me. "Shen Haoyu, your 28th birthday is in 33 days. Do you remember what you promised me back then?" I put the phone back exactly where it was and slumped back onto the sofa. Memories began to flood my mind. When I was 18, my aunt returned to the country to get married, and I followed her back to enroll in Yun University, to enjoy a normal college life, and for my own safety, I never told anyone who I really was. During the freshman orientation gala in my senior year, I stepped in to help a roommate and performed a quick accompaniment on stage. After the set, as I was heading backstage with my instrument, I ran right into Bai Ningbing. She was wearing a white lace dress, clutching a bouquet of flowers by the door. Her eyes were sparkling as she looked at me. "Could I get your contact info?" I've always been a sucker for a pretty face, so I agreed right then and there. After that, we talked every single day. We'd bump into each other constantly all over campus. 3 months after we met, it was Bai Ningbing who first confessed. A first awakening of love. Love at first sight. I had no reason to say no. Just like that, the two of us became a couple. From the age of 21, all the way to 28. Throughout those 7 years, my family constantly pressured me to return for an arranged marriage. After I repeatedly refused them, I tried to test the waters with him a few times to see what he thought. But every time the word marriage came up, Bai Ningbing would shut the conversation down as if he were avoiding a venomous snake. He never uttered a single word about it. At first, I thought he just wasn't ready to take that step. But as it kept happening, I began to sense that something was wrong. It wasn't until a party half a month ago, amidst some drunken small talk, that I finally heard the truth. As it turns out, the person in Bai Ningbing's heart has always been his childhood friend, Shen Haoyu. Unfortunately, it was a case of unrequited love. The feelings weren't mutual. Shen Haoyu only ever saw him as a friend, and the only reason he approached me in the first place was because of our first meeting. That night, Shen Haoyu was with someone else, and the way I looked while playing the piano on stage somehow reminded him of the one he truly loved. To soothe his heartache, and perhaps to spite Shen Haoyu, he chose me. In the years that followed, Shen Haoyu went through dozens of fleeting relationships. Every time news broke of a breakup, Bai Ningbing considered going back to him, but before he could even speak up, Shen Haoyu would find a new target. Each time, the ache in his heart only deepened, and so 7 years have passed in this endless cycle. We haven't broken up yet, but Bai Ningbing has never given up. He's waiting for Shen Haoyu to change his mind, waiting on a drunken joke Shen Haoyu made when they were young. Bingbing, when I turn 28, if we're both still single, why don't we just settle for each other and give it a shot? So, every year, he asks him about it once, and this year, he has finally reached Shen Haoyu's 28th birthday. Scrolling through the chat logs on Bai Ningbing's phone, I can't help but smile. In 33 days, it will be Shen Haoyu's 28th birthday. It's also the day I've chosen for myself. The day I'll break up, go home, and get married. Seeing Bai Ningbing head into the study, I get up, turn off the light, and lie back down in bed. I don't know how much time passes, but in the pitch-black room, I hear the sound of very soft footsteps. A glowing phone is placed on the nightstand. Someone lies down behind me. Then, a long, heavy silence, until I hear the faint, steady rhythm of his breathing next to me. I open my eyes again, reach out, and pick up Bai Ningbing's phone. Opening the same chat log from before, there are only 4 new words on the screen. Never forgotten. Such a simple phrase, yet I can easily imagine the scene as he typed it. What Bai Ningbing must have looked like. Probably biting his lip, eyes glued to the screen, carefully typing out a long sentence only to delete it, overanalyzing every single word, terrified that his feelings might be discovered too easily. This level of care and caution only ever appears when he's dealing with Shen Haoyu. As I think about it, a bitter smile tugs at the corner of my mouth. His mind is entirely focused on that 28-year-old pact, waiting with all his heart for Shen Haoyu to agree to marry him. I stay awake all night, eyes closed but far from sleep. Once dawn breaks, I hear the rustling of movement beside me. I open my eyes as if just waking up. Try to get off work early today. Bai Ningbing pauses while applying his skincare, looking over with a confused expression. Is something happening? After a long silence, I finally speak in a low, steady voice. It's your birthday today. Did you forget? Bai Ningbing's body stiffens slightly. Only then does he nod. For the past 2 weeks, all Bai Ningbing has been thinking about is that promise with Shen Haoyu. Nothing else matters to him. Now, he's even pushed his own birthday to the back of his mind. Thinking back on these past 2 months, on all my hard work preparing a surprise that was ultimately for nothing, my heart is a tangled mess of emotions. Bai Ningbing didn't even notice the look on my face. She just muttered a few instructions, telling me to keep things simple. She said there was no need for anything grand like in the past. In years prior, I would have poured my heart and soul into planning her birthday party, doing whatever it took just to make her happy. But she never cared about my efforts. Hearing her say that now, a trace of self-deprecation crept into my voice. The party is already organized. Everyone's confirmed they're coming. I can't just cancel it now. I started planning this 3 months ago. Back then, I had no idea there was someone else in her heart. If I had known, I wouldn't have bothered. Upon hearing my explanation, Bai Ningbing didn't say another word that night. She just grabbed her phone and walked out of the bedroom. Before she turned away, I caught a glimpse of her slightly furrowed brow. Once I got to the office, I headed straight to the manager's room and handed in my resignation. When I walked back out, the sight of the resignation letter in my hand sent the office into an absolute frenzy. Xiao Fan, are you leaving? Why the sudden quit? Did you find another job already? Man, that's decisive. You aren't going home to inherit a multi-billion-dollar fortune, are you? Faced with their concern, I set my things down and gave them a gentle smile. I'm getting married. My colleagues all nodded in realization. But Chin Hao, who had always been close to me, leaned in to press for details. Afan, did your girlfriend finally agree to tie the knot? What made her finally see the light? I didn't feel like explaining anymore, so I just shifted the subject. Thanks for looking out for me all these years, everyone. Dinner's on me tonight. After work, I spent a couple of hours eating with a few colleagues. By the time I reached the hotel, it was already 8 p.m. I hurried toward the private lounge, but just as I was about to push the door open, the conversation inside made me freeze. It's freezing out there. Who is Ningbing going to pick up? Who else? Shen Haoyu. I was standing right next to her. I heard everything. Shen Haoyu told her he was coming back today, and she practically ran out the door to get him. Are you serious? Then Ningbing must be over the moon. Today is her 28th birthday, and in a little over a month, Shen Haoyu will be 28 too. Him coming back now. You don't think he's actually here to fulfill that promise, do you? I heard Shen Haoyu is single again. Looks like there's an 80% chance he's back for good. But if they actually get together, what happens to Jiang Fan? We've kept him in the dark for so long. It's been 7 years, and he doesn't even know who Shen Haoyu is. He's still hopelessly in love with Ningbing. What can you do? Ningbing's always been head over heels for Shen Haoyu. If Shen Haoyu agrees to keep his promise, Jiang Fan is getting dumped. 100%. You can only blame his bad luck. Fortunately, he doesn't have much of a background, so it'll be easy to brush him off when they break up. I mean, he's been great to us and to Ningbing over the years, but we're Ningbing's best friends. We have to take her side. When the split happens, let's not make things hard for her. We can step in and offer him some cars or a house. Call it a breakup fee. I stood there listening for a long time, motionless. Since I had already decided to leave, I wasn't as heartbroken as I would have been 2 weeks ago. Instead, I found it almost laughable. Bai Ningbing wants to dump me, and she even needs her friends to buy me off. What kind of relationship have I been in for these past 7 years? Too bad for them. I'm the one leaving first this time. I remained outside the door. Right then, a few servers came by pushing a cart of drinks. I quickly stepped aside to let them pass. The moment the door opened, the chatter inside came to a grinding halt. I acted as if nothing had happened, walking in with a practiced smile on my face. I greeted everyone warmly, making small talk for a few moments. Then, Bai Ningbing entered again, this time accompanied by a complete stranger. I quietly sized him up, noting that his build and features were a 30 or 40% match for my own. Bai Ningbing led him around the private booth, mingling with the crowd, before finally stopping right in front of me. "This is my childhood friend," she introduced. "Shen Haoyu." She hesitated for a beat, her voice dipping slightly as she continued. "And this is my casual friend, Jiang Fan." As the words left her lips, Bai Ningbing braced herself for me to snap or cause a scene. But things didn't go the way she expected. I didn't react at all. I simply looked her deep in the eyes for a long moment, then pulled my hand back. Taking 2 steps back, I purposefully put some distance between us. A faint smile touched my lips, perfectly composed and polite. "Nice to meet you, Mr. Shen. I'm just a casual friend of Ningbing's." Once the introductions were over, the booth roared back to life. Shen Haoyu was outgoing and charismatic, the kind of guy who could talk to anyone. He made his rounds, glass in hand, offering toasts from one end of the room to the other. He pulled a group together for drinking games, and when the excitement reached its peak, he found his hands too full with cards to eat. He needed someone to feed him a few slices of watermelon. Without a second thought, Bai Ningbing poked a piece with her own fork and fed it to him. Shen Haoyu didn't think twice about it either. He leaned over, took a few bites, then picked up her glass and drained half of her red wine. I sat just a few meters away, watching Bai Ningbing as she kept hold of that same glass, refusing to let go. She kept drinking, glass after glass, and every time she took a sip, her lips pressed against the exact spot where Shen Haoyu's mouth had just been. By the end of it, she was clearly intoxicated. Still, the classic birthday ritual couldn't be skipped. Everyone started singing the birthday song, ushering her to her feet to blow out the candles and make a wish. The rowdy room suddenly fell silent. I stood up and personally wheeled out the cake, lighting the candles one by one. Staring at the 28 shimmering in the candlelight, Bai Ningbing rubbed her temples, trying to shake off the drunken haze. Her gaze, though unfocused and blurring, swept across the room, before she slowly raised a single finger. "For this year's birthday, I don't want to make a wish. Instead, I want to ask a question." Her finger drifted until it pointed directly at Shen Haoyu. Her gaze, unsteady, yet burning with an intense heat, fell straight upon him. "Haoyu, you're turning 28 soon, too. I have one question for you. Do you have a girlfriend right now?" The moment she said it, every bystander in the room began exchanging meaningful glances. Faced with a barrage of prying eyes from all directions, Shen Haoyu froze for a moment. He finally answered that no, he was single. A brief, heavy silence followed, until someone let out a surprised, delighted, "Whoa." The room instantly exploded. Her drunk best friends jumped up, pulling a stumbling Bai Ningbing into a chaotic dance of celebration. Watching the messy scene unfold before me, I remained seated, perfectly still. Calm and indifferent, I played my part, the role of the casual friend who was supposedly kept in the dark and knew nothing at all. The revelry lasted until the early hours of the morning, before the birthday banquet finally came to an end. Once the crowd had dispersed, I helped a swaying Bai Ningbing into the car. Still riding the high of the night's excitement, she collapsed into my arms and began pouring her heart out. "Shen Haoyu," she sobbed, her voice breaking. "Don't go. Stay by my side, okay? Why is it okay for everyone else, but not for me? I've waited for you for so many years. I wait for you every single day." The driver in the front seat listened to every word of it, all the way home. He had a smug grin on his face the whole way back. As I was getting out of the car, he watched me steadying the drunken woman in my arms, and couldn't resist teasing me. "Hey sir, your girlfriend really loves you, doesn't she?" I gave the driver a faint smile. My voice was flat, devoid of emotion. "She really loves Shen Haoyu. But I'm not Shen Haoyu." Waking up from a night of heavy drinking, Bai Ningbing finally remembered what happened last night. She grabbed me immediately, stumbling over an explanation. "Fan, as soon as I got to the club yesterday, they started pouring me drinks. I lost track. I probably said a lot of nonsense. It was just the alcohol talking, really. Please, don't take any of it to heart." I didn't expect her to actually remember last night, nor did I expect her to come up with such a pathetic, flimsy excuse. But I remained calm and composed, playing along with her performance. I gave a slight dismissive nod. "It's fine. I know. I don't know why, but seeing my expressionless face and remembering how I reacted yesterday when she introduced me to Shen Haoyu, 29. Bai Ningbing suddenly looked panicked. Bai Ningbing felt a strange, sudden flicker of unease. She clearly felt something was off, turning it over in her mind until she grew uneasy. She quickly tried to change the subject. Yesterday, I was so caught up in drinking with everyone that I completely ignored you. Jiang Fan, are you mad at me? How about we go on a date after work today? My treat. Mad? No. But I have some things to handle this afternoon. I can't make it. Seeing how bluntly I refused, Bai Ningbing became even more insistent on making it up to me. I couldn't shake her off, so I finally gave in and agreed. That evening, I had just finished changing and was about to head out when a message from Chin Hao flashed on my phone. "Aw Fan, did you not tell your girlfriend you quit your job? She just came by looking for you. She looks absolutely furious right now." Before I could even finish reading, Bai Ningbing's call came screaming through. Looking at her name flashing on the screen, a flicker of weariness crossed my eyes. After a moment's hesitation, I hit answer. Bai Ningbing's voice exploded through the speaker, hysterical and sharp. "Your colleague told me you quit. He said you're leaving to get married." While I was still trying to think of an explanation, Bai Ningbing continued her cold, relentless interrogation. "I've told you before, I have no intention of getting married right now." It finally clicked. Bai Ningbing thought I was using my resignation to force her into marriage. No wonder she was throwing such a tantrum. I patiently offered a brief explanation. It was just a joke I made with my colleagues. They must have taken it seriously. I've been feeling tired lately. I wanted to take some time off to rest." Hearing this, the voice on the other end of the line finally calmed down. "Don't make jokes like that again." I gave a quiet okay. Then I heard Bai Ningbing ask where I was, asking if she should come pick me up. I was about to give her the address when I caught a very faint, muffled laugh in the background. It sounded exactly like Shen Haoyu. The sure that was on the tip of my tongue turned into a no need. She hung up almost instantly. I stared at the screen as it faded to black, a self-deprecating smile tugging at the corner of my mouth. If she really wanted to come find me, why would she hang up so fast? It was just a courtesy going through the motions. Why did I even take her seriously for a second? I hailed a cab and headed to the restaurant we had booked. After the waiter confirmed my name, he led me straight to the rooftop dining area. When I pushed open the door to the private room, the table was already packed with dishes. But the room was empty. Seeing my confusion, the waiter explained respectfully, "Miss Bai called 10 minutes ago to order the meal. She said you should start eating first. Something urgent came up, and she'll be arriving a bit late." I thought back to that phone call just now. A look of realization washed over my face. Urgent business, huh? She's probably off keeping Shen Haoyu company again. Actually, I guess she wasn't technically lying. After all, in her world, as long as it involves the man she loves, even the most trivial, tiny thing qualifies as an emergency. I didn't let myself dwell on it too much. I just turned around and walked straight into the private dining room. The waiter was incredibly attentive, setting out my cutlery and introducing each dish one by one with a practiced flair. Looking at the table full of seafood, I narrowed my eyes slightly. During those years in Europe, I never got used to Western food. I ate seafood so often I eventually grew sick of it. Even after coming back home, I still haven't regained a taste for it. If we had been dining together like we used to, and I saw a spread like this, I probably would have just sucked it up for her sake. But now, I don't feel like compromising myself for a single second longer. With a dismissive wave of my hand, I told the waiter to clear away everything Mr. Zhang had ordered. "Miss Bai has already settled the bill," the waiter stammered. "This was a very expensive spread. Are you sure you don't want any of it? If we clear the table, the restaurant doesn't offer refunds." I raised an eyebrow, pulled a card from my bag, and handed it over. "I'm aware. Clear this away and bring me the new items I'm about to order. Just swipe this card. Don't worry, I can afford it." By the time I finished my meal, Bai Ningbing still hadn't shown her face. I didn't bother waiting for her anymore. I paid the bill and started heading home. I was halfway there when several messages popped up on my phone. "Fan, can you stay somewhere else for the night? Haoyu suddenly returned to the country. His family's old place hasn't been cleaned yet, so he can't stay there. Plus, he's caught a terrible cold. His stomach is acting up, too. He really shouldn't be left alone. Can I let him stay at our place just for tonight? She wants to play nursemaid to Shen Haoyu, but she's terrified he'll find out about us." How pathetic. This time, I wasn't in the mood to play a supporting role in Bai Ningbing's little drama. I cut straight to the point. "Isn't he just your friend? Why do you feel the need to hide our relationship from him? How much longer were you planning on keeping me a secret?" It was a long time after I sent those messages before I finally got a reply. Bai Ningbing didn't offer a single word of explanation. She only sent back a date, January 18th. If this were the old me, I wouldn't have understood why she picked that specific day. But now, I know exactly why. The 18th is Shen Haoyu's birthday. If he follows through on his promise that day and chooses to be with her, she'll probably dump me without a moment's hesitation. But if Shen Haoyu turns her down, she'll settle for me and bring up marriage. She's using that day to test the waters and speak her heart. If she gets rejected, she still has me the official boyfriend to fall back on. She can just play her confession off as a joke. Whether she moves forward with him or retreats back to me, she's crafted the perfect escape plan. I almost have to admire her for it. It's just a shame that I'm no longer willing to be the safety net in her love life. I didn't reply. I shut my phone off entirely. Then, I gave a taxi driver the address to a hotel. After a few drinks to wind down, I didn't wake up until the following afternoon. I wanted to check the time, but the second I turned my phone on, dozens of messages came flooding in. Most were from Bai Ningbing. A few were from her circle of friends. Whoa, where are you? Why aren't you picking up? You aren't replying to messages either. Don't scare us like this. Bing has been looking for you like a madwoman all night long. Looking at these accusatory messages, I let out a cold laugh. Is turning off my phone to get some sleep scaring people now? Besides, every single one of them knows that Shen Haoyu is the only person Bai Ningbing actually cares about. Why would she suddenly care if I'm dead or alive? While I was lost in thought, Bai Ningbing's name flashed on the screen. I answered. Her temper was already flaring. Fan, Haoyu just needed a place to crash for one night. Was it really necessary to get this angry? Even if you were upset, you shouldn't have lashed out like this. Honestly, I couldn't even be bothered to explain myself anymore. So, I just made up an excuse. I wasn't trying to be difficult. My phone died. It just shut down on its own, that's all. If this were any other time, Bai Ningbing probably would have bought that. But today, for some reason, he was feeling suspicious. He shot back with a question. Then how come? I've always been able to reach you no matter what, yet your phone just happened to be off last night? Hearing his interrogation, I froze for a moment. Suddenly, a flood of memories from the past came rushing back. One night, a few years ago, Bai Ningbing had a sudden, sharp pain in his stomach. His secretary called the wrong person, but once the call reached me and I heard what was happening, I got up immediately to bring him medicine. Last year, when he was away on a business trip, there was a 7 or 8 hour time difference. Bai Ningbing couldn't keep track of the time back here. It was 3 or 4 in the morning. When he called me to ask about a specific document, I fought back the exhaustion and dragged myself out of bed to check the security footage and help him find it. 3 months ago, I had surgery for appendicitis. I had just come off the operating table, and the anesthesia hadn't even worn off yet, when a message from him popped up, saying he was craving milk tea. I still managed to ask a nurse to go grab one for him. Case after case, moment after moment, every single one was proof of how much I loved him. It's just a shame that no matter how much I gave, he never actually saw it. Thinking of this, a hint of uncontrollable self-mockery crept into my voice. I only kept it on because I was afraid that when you needed me, I wouldn't be there. But I guess you didn't really need me yesterday. Hearing the ambiguous tone in my voice, something stirred deep inside Bai Ningbing. In the 7 years we'd been together, I had catered to his every whim. I was always compliant. The two of us had never once had a shouting match or a real fight. There were many things he didn't want to explain, and I never pressed him for answers. Even when I was occasionally sulking, I'd be fine after just a little bit of coaxing. From daily chores to planning our dates, I took care of him in every possible way. Looking back on it honestly, Bai Ningbing had to admit that I was an almost perfect boyfriend. Remembering how well I'd treated him in the past, his tone softened significantly. I get it. I was really worried about you. That's why I sounded so aggressive. I'm sorry, Afan. Where are you right now? I'll come get you. At that moment, I had no desire to see him. I simply told him not to bother, and caught a cab back home. As soon as I walked in, the nanny told me that Bai Ningbing had just left. I didn't even have to guess. Shen Haoyu had probably called him away again. The scent of that man's cologne still lingered in the air. I didn't ask where he went. I just quietly asked the nanny to open the windows, to let some fresh air in. Over the next 2 weeks, I didn't see Bai Ningbing at all. It was as if I had completely forgotten I even had a boyfriend. Not a single phone call, not a single reply to a message. Through Shen Haoyu's social media posts, I knew exactly where he was and what he was doing. But I didn't want to question him about his whereabouts, nor did I want to dig into what he was actually thinking. To me, every day now was nothing more than a countdown. I wasn't in the mood to waste any more energy on someone I was destined to say goodbye to. On New Year's Eve, it started to snow. I was in a pretty good mood, so I spent the evening watching movies by the floor-to-ceiling window. Around midnight, fireworks and crackers began to thunder outside. Feeling a bit tired, I leaned back in my rocking chair and scrolled through my feed. Meanwhile, the front door had remained silent all night long. Suddenly, I hear footsteps approaching. I prop myself up against the chair and sit straight. That's when I see Bai Ningbing stumbling back, completely wasted. He staggers into the room, swaying on his feet. He dumps a mountain of shopping bags onto the sofa. Then, right in front of me, he starts tearing them open one by one. I just bought these 2 scarves. Look how hard it's snowing outside. Jiangfan, are you cold? Oh, and Jiangfan, I bought this a few days ago. It's a Rolex, your New Year's gift. Do you like it? As he rambles on, Bai Ningbing takes the gifts and starts shoving them all into my arms at once. I find it too stuffy and unwrap the scarf. He immediately grabs my hand and starts apologizing. I'm so sorry. I've been way too busy lately. I didn't have any time to come back and see you. You're mad at me again, aren't you? And about last time, I shouldn't have stood you up. Jiangfan, can you just forgive me, please? Let's just make things right between us from now on. As he says this, Bai Ningbing leans in close. He tries to kiss me, but the stench of alcohol on his breath is unbearable. I have no idea what's gotten into him this time. After a lot of coaxing and pleading, I finally manage to get him into the bedroom. Once he's asleep, I clean up the mess of bags scattered across the living room floor. Then, I pick up my phone. My feed is flooded with one happy couple post after another, but the one that catches my eye is Shen Haoyu's. He posted a full 9-photo grid. Every single shot is of him and some girl together in the snow. The caption is quite telling too. With the first snowfall, I've met someone new, the right person, someone I truly love. Seeing that post, all the questions in my mind are suddenly answered. No wonder Bai Ningbing came home dead drunk all of a sudden. No wonder he's being so affectionate out of nowhere. It turns out the person he loves has started a new relationship. It makes sense. If it weren't for that, how could he possibly have spared a thought for an old flame like me? A trace of mockery flashes in my eyes. I reach down, unbuckle the watch from my wrist, and toss it onto the table. Over the next few days, Bai Ningbing is like a completely different person. He doesn't go anywhere. He stays home the entire time, insisting that he wants to keep me company. When my stomach acts up, he stays right by my side, dutifully cooking rice porridge for me. When he catches me looking at travel ads, even just for a second, he immediately starts planning a trip for us after the new year. Perhaps his heart was truly broken this time, because he's treating me with far more devotion than ever before. But none of it moves me anymore. I watch Bai Ningbing quietly, playing his part as the perfect partner. Watching him run himself ragged just because of a few words, I said, I don't feel a single ounce of guilt. Let him put in all this effort for these final few days. I'll just consider it repayment for everything he owed me in the past. With that thought, any lingering weight on my conscience disappears. After the snow stops, my mother sends over a few photos of different suit styles. She asks me which one I like best. I hold up my phone, swiping through the photos and zooming in, checking the details on the fabric. I must have been too focused, because when Bai Ningbing creeps up behind me, I don't notice him at all, not until he snatches the phone right out of my hand. I turn my head, only to see Bai Ningbing's face turn dark in an instant. A groom's suit? Why the hell are you looking at wedding suits? Without even blinking, a lie slips effortlessly from my lips. Didn't I tell you before? A friend of mine is getting married soon. There was some issue with the original suit, so they're picking out a new one. They asked me to help them choose. Seeing that my expression is perfectly calm, Bai Ningbing's suspicions slowly fade. He hands the phone back to me. Oh, right. I forgot to ask. What's the date of the wedding? I'll go with you. Looking at his dead serious expression, a subtle, complicated smile plays on my lips. January 19th. Are you sure you really want to go? Hearing the date, Bai Ningbing freezes for a moment. I keep my eyes fixed on him, waiting. I waited patiently for his answer. Silence stretched between us for a long time. Finally, he forced a strained smile just to humor me. We'll see when the time comes. Ever since I asked that question, Bai Ningbing sank back into a deep state of gloom. He's been going through the motions like he's in a daze, clearly weighed down by something. Using the wedding as a convenient excuse, I didn't bother hiding anything from him. I started packing my bags right in front of his face. It's been 6 years since I moved into this riverside apartment after graduation. Over time, my belongings had filled every corner of the rooms. I only picked out the things I bought myself and tucked them into my suitcase. Everything else, I left behind without a second thought. It doesn't matter anyway. Once I'm back in Jingbei, I'll be on my own turf. If I need anything, I'll just buy it there. These things, they might as well stay here. Occasionally, when Bai Ningbing would snap out of it, he'd idle through my suitcase. Even after seeing what was inside, he never asked a single question. I know why. His mind is completely consumed with the hope that Shen Haoyu will hand him an invitation to his birthday banquet. He hasn't even noticed that I've been quietly tossing out most of my personal effects. As long as those couple's items I used to treasure so much are still on display, it would never cross his mind that this departure is forever. After all, in his eyes, my love for him is so absolute that I'd give my life for him. Why would he ever suspect I'm actually leaving for good? Embracing the art of letting go, I found the packing surprisingly easy. January 18th. The sky is bleak and gray, looking like it's about to pour. Bai Ningbing got up incredibly early. He's just been sitting on the sofa, eyes glued to his phone. I got up a bit later and sat at the dining table for breakfast. The housekeeper glanced at the weather outside and turned to me. Mr. Jiang, it looks like rain. Should we head to the airport a little early? Hearing that, Bai Ningbing looked up. Subconsciously, he blurted out, "Why are you going to the airport?" "I'm going to that wedding tomorrow. I asked you to think about it before. Have you made up your mind?" I explained casually, watching Bai Ningbing's reaction closely. He went silent for a few seconds, before finally speaking. "It's too far. I'm not going. But I'll drive you to the airport." I wasn't surprised by his answer. I finished my last bite of toast, went back to the bedroom, and grabbed my luggage. Just as Bai Ningbing buckled his seatbelt, his phone chimed. He opened the message in a hurry. In the next second, a joy he could no longer mask flickered in his usually cold eyes. He set the phone down, unbuckled his seatbelt immediately, and pushed open the car door. It wasn't until he stepped out of the car that he realized what he was doing. He leaned back in quickly to explain. "Jiangfan, something came up at the office. I have to handle it right away. I'll have the driver take you to the airport instead." After being together for all these years, I could easily tell he was lying. Just by the way, his eyes shifted uncertainly, but I didn't call him out on it. I just gave a slight nod. While waiting for the driver, I opened my social feed. Sure enough, there was a post from Shen Haoyu sharing photos of his birthday setup. That young girl was nowhere to be seen. Looks like they broke up again. Which means, that promise Shen Haoyu made years ago, that if he wasn't married by 28, he'd be with Bai Ningbing, was suddenly full of hope again. No wonder he's so happy. By the time the driver arrived, Bai Ningbing had already changed into a white evening suit. Looking refreshed and spirited, he slid into the sports car parked nearby. He rolled down the window and gave me a wave. "When will you be back?" I only smiled. She waved her hand at me. "When are you coming back?" I just gave her a small smile. No response. Bai Ningbing didn't seem to care though. He just floored it, the sports car tearing away in a blur. I sat there in the passenger seat, watching that car until it finally disappeared from sight. Only then did I turn to the driver and whisper, "Let's go." A light drizzle began to fall from the sky, speckling the windows with droplets and blurring the glass. Everything outside became a haze, impossible to make out. That was fine. I didn't want to look anymore anyway. I closed my eyes, and in the silence of my heart, I whispered a final goodbye. Goodbye to it all. Forever. Just before boarding, my phone rang. It was my father,